Welcome to CX Labs, a digitally irresistible podcast brought to you by iQor. We cover the latest CX practices, including performance optimization, technology trends, employee experience, industry developments, and success factors to inspire great CX for your brand. And now, here's today's episode. Welcome to the Digitally Irresistible podcast, a CX Labs episode. I'm your host, Celeste Roberts. Today's guest is PJ Singh. Welcome, PJ.
Thanks for having me, Celeste.
PJ, you are the Chief Digital Officer at iQor. You lead a team of technology professionals whose focus is harnessing technology, automation, and human expertise in the delivery of excellent CX for the brands that entrust us to service their customers. So today, I am very excited to talk with you about iQor's announcement of Symphony AI. Let's get started. My first question is, what is Symphony AI?
So Symphony AI is a combination of data and sort of the accumulated process knowledge that iQor has.
PJ, what accumulated process knowledge? I'm not familiar with that. Could you explain that a little bit?
Maybe an elaborate term to say we've been doing customer service for a combined well over 100 years of all the experience that we have in this company. Bringing all of that information together into what works, what makes a customer happy, how do you get to resolution fast? That's kind of the wrapping of all of that is the accumulated process knowledge. We understand how to best service your customer, and we bring that knowledge into our large language models, along with a lot of the data that we have to train these models and in AI on how to solve customers' problems. It's really an ecosystem of our own proprietary tools, along with some commercial products, some of the partnerships that we're creating, to harness the power of AI and generative AI, and really give people and our customers and our agents a wonderful experience on CX that delights the end customers along with our clients.
Okay. And you said something else that I'd like you to elaborate on a little bit. What is an example of a large language model? What is that?
So I think a lot of people are familiar with things like ChatGPT or Midjourney. These are it's a fancy way of saying it's a lot of data that a system has been trained on, billions and billions of rows of data, and the machine has been trained to understand that data and say, I can make logical sense out of it. So when you go into a well-trained model and ask questions in very natural language, like you and I are talking, it's able to respond to you in the same way that a well-informed human being would respond to you about a certain topic. That's probably the easiest way to think about a large language model.
Oh, thank you for that. So why is iQor designing the Symphony AI ecosystem to begin with?
Well, we recognize that there's a transformative capacity of generative AI that's going to have an impact on every industry out there, including ourselves. Getting ahead of that curve is important for us. We also recognize that as a company, we have been investing into AI for quite some time. A big example of that is our Valdi engine, that is our proprietary speech analytics engine. But just building the entire machinery behind how do you take a voice signal, turn it into data, turn it into insights like customer sentiments and emotions and topics, that takes a lot of engineering that we internally have the capacity for. And we have deployed a number of other models, including commercial models with other companies where we're monitoring for compliance defects in our work at home environment, or we're looking for where do we have pockets of potential attrition using our machine learning models to understand how do we retain our employees better. So there's a lot of wealth of knowledge and engineering capacity within iQor to build these AI models. And we think we can be at the forefront of generative AI and the impact that generative AI will have for an industry like ours. We want to revolutionize all of our processes, not just any one process, and look at how do we impact the entire employee lifecycle with generative AI and all of the different AI technologies that we have access to.
Oh, wow. So PJ, what is the impact of Symphony AI on the employee and on the customer?
Celeste, the impact is going to be pretty profound across everybody. But I'll give you some examples, and these examples will evolve as we get started. The impact to our employees starts even before they become an employee. We are deploying AI right at the forefront of our candidate selection to speed up the process for our candidates to become an employee. If you're interested in working at iQor and you possess the skills that we're looking for, how do we use AI to supercharge that assessment and make it fast enough where we can make a quick decision and get you an answer and make you an employee as quickly as we can in all of our geos, across all of our different clients that have very different needs depending on the client type. When you become an employee, we want to supercharge your entire training experience. We don't want you to just learn in a training environment for weeks and then come out of that training and take the time that it takes to become proficient with the business process. We want to supercharge that training environment with AI, so that way you can learn a lot quicker and you can retain a lot more. So as you go on to that production floor, you also still have that AI partner on your desktop that's helping you throughout that conversation, and making sure that time to proficiency comes down very significantly. And that ultimately benefits our customers the most, and our clients. The customers are calling in because they have a problem and they want to get to a resolution as fast as possible. And we want to pair them up with this agent that is supercharged with AI to help deliver that information to that agent, make sure that all of the process knowledge is taken care of, make sure of anything that the system can handle faster than the agent is managed, and the agent can go back to focusing on the conversation and get that issue resolved as quickly as possible, which ultimately leads to a delighted customer, a delighted client, a great brand experience for all of these customers that are calling in. And that's the design of how it impacts the entire employee lifecycle, the customer lifecycle, and ultimately our clients and iQor itself.
Oh, PJ, that sounds like a win for everyone: the employee, the client, the customer.
Absolutely. Those are the win-win-wins that we're always working towards.
Well, PJ, thank you so much for joining me on this episode of the Digitally Irresistible podcast, a CX Labs episode. Listeners, be sure to visit iQor.com/symphony-AI to learn more about iQor's exciting generative AI ecosystem.
Thanks for listening. Be sure to subscribe to the Digitally Irresistible podcast on your favorite podcast player or on the iQor YouTube channel so you never miss a future episode.